All right, for all you college basketball fans, this is a huge weekend. The finals of the the lead into the finals of the NCAA March Madness. We've got Rachel Bachman, who's joining us from New Orleans with the latest on this Final Four matchup. Rachel, tell us what's heating up down there.
Well, we're heading into the semifinals, which are tomorrow night. We start off with Louisville and Kentucky. Kentucky, of course, has been a dominant team all season. Louisville really has gotten hot late. And the following game is Kansas-Ohio State, two teams that are pretty well matched, actually.
Rachel, you can't see us, right? Because I'm dunking right now. I am dunking in the basket here on the News Hub. But a lot of attention is being paid to this Louisville-Kentucky game because of the rivalry between the coaches. One coach at the other school. The schools are close together. They're both storied programs. Does anybody think that this other game, Ohio State and Kansas, is gonna live up to the earlier game?
Well, the interesting thing is it's actually in the prime time slot. If you'll see, it's in the later spot on TV, which is sort of the marquee position. So I think the thinking behind that, at least among TV executives, was that not only are those kind of better matched teams, it's a more closely contested game, or likely to be, but it's probably of more interest to more parts of the country. Because although, Kentucky and Louisville are, of course, obviously two good teams, they're in the same state. And so you're not going to get kind of like as many millions of eyeballs that are as interested in that game, potentially, as the Kansas-Ohio State game.
And Rachel, I know with the Louisville Cardinals and Kentucky Wildcats from the same state, there's already a lot of tension there. Is there added tension because Rick Pitino used to coach Kentucky as well? Is that just sort of adding to the fervor down there?
I think there is. It's definitely a grudge match. These coaches have sort of overlapping histories. John Calipari, who coaches Kentucky now, used to really idolize Rick Pitino. Pitino, of course, won an NCAA title in '96, coaching Kentucky when he was there, and kind of helped rebuild the program after it had some NCAA trouble in the late '80s, early '90s. And so these programs are kind of interwoven through their coaches. And given that Kentucky is such a basketball mad state, this has been the main focus of this game. Even though, as I said, that Kentucky is an amazing team. I mean, some people are saying this is one of the best college basketball teams in the last decade.
Is anybody looking at any of these teams as the underdog story? I know that in the past, of course, we've had the Butlers, we've had the VCUs making the Final Fours. Is anybody looking maybe at Ohio State? I mean, it's hard to knock say a team like Kansas as an underdog in this, even though a lot of people didn't think they'd do well this year. But is there any sort of underdog favorite down there?
Well, it's funny. These are all basketball royalty. All these programs have won NCAA titles in the past or been to Final Fours recently or both. And so certainly there's no Virginia Commonwealth, there's no Butler in this Final Four field. But, interestingly enough, three of these teams did not win their conference tournaments, including Kentucky. And so they all can sort of lay claim to, not being world beaters. Kentucky maybe not. But there are no real underdogs in this Final Four.
And Rachel, do you think the selection committee got it right in seeding Kentucky, the overall #1 seed?
Absolutely. I think that they have shown themselves to be almost unbeatable. They have lost twice this season, but both not in Lexington and both to very good teams, Indiana and Vanderbilt. So I think, you watch them play and you watch them score mainly. This is not a very high-scoring season, and they're averaging 88 points in this tournament alone.
Yeah.
They're just extremely impressive, and a good half dozen NBA players on this team right now.
All right, sounds like that's your pick.
Yeah, Rachel, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And of course, everybody, keep watching WSJ.com all weekend for updates on the college basketball March Madness. All right, thanks so much.